Hello, my people. How you doing? Hope you're doing great. Um, this is a quick information. As you can see, I'm all dressed for church, but I just say let me talk about this real quick. Okay. Um, this coming week, we are gonna dive into the biggest joint application in Finland in 2025. Is it a big deal? Yes, it's a big deal because this is the biggest joint application in Finland. It's from the 8th of January, all right? It is also good for you to know that the universities like University of Helsinki, they are already open for admission. They open on the 4th, on the 2nd, sorry, on the 2nd of January. So they are still open for admission right up to the 16th of January. Yes, I'm sure that's the date. All right. So today I'm just going to be talking about some of the key things. All right. And I'm going to list five of them. Some of the key things that you should consider when applying to this joint application or any university separate application like University of Helsinki that I talk about. They are also open, and other universities are open as well. Um, the first thing you should consider is the number of programs that you can apply in this joint application. You can apply for up to six programs, all right? Six different programs, both bachelor and masters. So it is not like, oh, I can only apply to bachelor's degree programs and not masters. You can apply for a master's and bachelor's degree program in one application using one application form. But if we are talking about you applying to, let's say, University of Helsinki, for example, you are supposed to apply only to the programs in that university because it's a separate application, it's not a joint. But if you need to apply for a master's degree in a University of Applied Science that is included in the joint application, then you can apply to both master's and bachelor's degree programs. The second thing I want you to consider is that you can apply for a separate application and still apply to a joint program. Okay, so you can submit a separate application and a joint application. How does this work? For example, University of Helsinki is not part of the joint application. Okay, so you can go to University of Helsinki. Maybe you have one or two or three master's program that you can put all of them under University of Helsinki. And if, for example, you are like, oh, I have a bachelor's degree in University of Applied Science that I need to apply to, you can as well go to joint application and do that. Okay, but just remember you have to pay application fee. That's very important. So that brings me to my next point, which is the application fee. There's no way you're gonna be able to submit your application form without paying your application fee in this 2025 application round. So what you're supposed to do is go and check, make sure you have more information about how much is the application fee, how you're supposed to pay it. All right, because we can be like, oh, we have more time. No, you don't have more time to submit the application form. So please go to any university's website, study info, check about the application fee, how to pay it in order for you to be able to submit your application form. That is very important. The next thing I want to talk about is you knowing the deadline for the application form to be submitted and also pay attention to the deadline on which you are supposed to submit your attachments. So for example, let's say University of Helsinki application is from the 2nd of January to the 16th of January. That is the deadline. 16th of January is the deadline when you are supposed to submit your application form. All right. So for example, my application form is ready. I've paid my application fee. I've submitted it, but now I still need some documents. All right. They have another deadline for you to submit these attachments. This is important because most students, they make this huge mistake of not completing the application form, thinking that they will still be able to edit the application form after the application deadline, because they are using the deadline for submitting attachments. These are two different things. The thing with the deadline for submitting the attachment is that after the deadline for submitting the application form is like it has passed, you can still go to your application form, but you cannot edit anything. You can only submit attachments. All right, so make sure you deal with everything. Make sure you give the right information on your application form. Submit, in a sense that you only have your attachments to upload within the period when that, like, I think sometimes it's like 1 week or 7 days after the deadline of the application period. Okay, so you still have these additional days to make sure you put your documents together and submit it. Some of you may be thinking, oh, my application form has been submitted already. What if I don't include these attachments? They are not going to consider your application form at all if you don't have all the required attachments. They are not even going to look at your application. That's the truth. So make sure you submit your application form on time, and also make sure you submit your attachments to your application. Now, one more thing I want to talk about that is very important that most of you don't know is more universities. I'm not talking about University of Applied Science. I'm talking about universities. More universities, they've had countries that are exempted from the International English Language Test, provided you have a bachelor's degree taken in English in from your home country. So I'll advise you, for example, I was going through Tampere University and I was like, wow, the application period, like they are done, it's passed already. They included Cameroon, Nigeria, and more African countries as well. Remember, last year it was just Abo Academy and University of Helsinki, but now universities are doing this more. So please make sure you check. You may be eligible for a master's program, but you don't have the International English Language Test, and maybe you are thinking, oh, I cannot apply for a master's program. Please check this information in your preferred university. Maybe, just maybe, your country may be exempted from this International English Language Test, and you'll be able to apply for a master's program. One thing I've realized with this upcoming application is that master's program are really, they are less expensive than bachelor. And some of you may be like, what? Yes. Why? Because universities have up to 80% scholarship. They have 60, they have 50. But if you look at the University of Applied Sciences, they don't have that much scholarships. Most of their scholarships are like the Finnish language scholarship, which starts from the second year or third year. But universities they have this 80%, 50% scholarships that starts from the first year of your studies. And I think for you to move to Finland to come pursue a master's degree, that you pay just maybe 3,500, 4,000 euros. That is really cheap in today's Finland. So I'll advise you, this is especially for my people, if you have a bachelor's degree from your home country that qualifies you for a master's degree, especially if you have a GPA of over 3, from 3 points, like your grade, your now I'm talking about your general grade level. So if you have more than 3, please do not waste this opportunity. Go for a master's program. Go for it, because it's less expensive, and at the same time, you can complete it under 2 years. I've shared a story about myself, my experience as a student, as a master's degree student. I was able to complete my coursework under 1 year. So I started working and writing my thesis. So that's the advantage with master's program. You don't have to stay in the university for 3 years, 3+ years. All right. So if you are eligible, then please consider applying for a master's degree. Now you don't have reasons to say I don't have the international English language test, because like I said, universities are exempting more countries, more African countries even, from taking the international English language test if you've studied 3 years, 4 years bachelor's program in your home country entirely in English. And this is easy. They will ask you to submit your certificate and your transcript of records. And also, if it's not clearly stated on your certificate that this program was entirely, it was conducted entirely in English, you can also ask your university to write like just a document stating that you conducted this entire studies, like your entire bachelor's degree program, or was conducted in English that way. I don't know if this makes sense, but yeah. The next thing you're supposed to pay attention to when it comes to this application period is, for my people that are applying for a bachelor's program or any program that requires you to write the entrance exam, sorry, please make sure the pin that you'll be asked to fill on your application form, save it somewhere. It can be on your phone, you can write it somewhere, you can send it to someone in your family that knows how to keep stuff, to keep this pin for you, because you will need it when you're writing your entrance exam. So please make sure as you're writing your pin, as you're putting it on the application form, write it somewhere and keep it there. It's very important. The next thing you should consider also is how to go about the entrance exam. So it's good for you to read more about it, when you're supposed to take it, and every other thing that has to do with the entrance exam. Now, still on the entrance exam, make sure you submit the right documents of identification. So I'm talking about your passport. It's very important, because if you don't, this will give you more trouble when you are taking the entrance exam, or when you're about to. You may even not take it. The last but not the least is very important. Make sure you fill in the right email address on your application form, because that's the only means of communication that these people will have with you. So if your email address is not correct, you're not even going to get a confirmation link or email stating that you've applied for this or that program. So make sure you fill in the right email address. They'll ask you to put it and ask you to rewrite it again. So that's even good. So pay more attention and make sure the email address that you put there, it's the email address that you can access. I've had a situation of a student putting an email address, and then, oh, she forgot her password, and there was no way for her to log in. So like, they will keep sending messages or emails there, but you can't access it. So make sure you have a working email address. Okay. That's it for not five. I think I've given more than five, but that's okay. Things you should note or consider during the joint application or separate application 2025. All right. If you have any question, you can leave it in the comment section. Please do wait to like this video, share with your friends, subscribe if you're new here, and don't worry about filling the application form. I always do that with my people here. So if you've been here with me and you've benefited from the tutorial on how to fill application form, please leave it in the comment section below. It means you've been here with me for a while. So if this is your first time, don't bother. I'm gonna do a tutorial on the 8th of January. You're gonna fill the application form with me. So I got you covered. Don't bother. All right. So that will be all for today. See you on Wednesday. Yes, I think Wednesday is the 8th. See you on Wednesday. Take care. God bless you. Bye.